Hey, Darren. It's good to see you. It's been a long time.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How was your off season? I'm curious, kind of, how it went and how it felt maybe different than last off season a little bit, given the pandemic and kind of where you feel you are both, from a health perspective and mentally heading into this season.
I think I had a great off season. Obviously, just continuing to work on my game and then just being around my family.
Mhm.
That was a good thing. And at this point, the pandemic seems kind of normal. So no big difference. But I was in Florida and Texas for the most part. So as y'all know, it's a little
Yeah.
bit different. It's a little bit different in those two states. So it was pretty normal for me.
From a game perspective, obviously every offseason you're working to add. We've obviously heard about kind of the muscle and the weight that you've added. What was your primary focus going into this offseason in terms of what you wanted to improve and kind of where you think you are in terms of that heading into the preseason?
For me, just going into the off season, it was really about being stronger. It's kind of always a focus, and then a big emphasis on shooting a ball off the dribble. That's where a lot of my shots have come from. So just being able to be more efficient off the dribble, and then obviously, with us having Tyrese and then adding Davion, looking to be off the ball a little bit more, and I shot the ball well off the catch last year, but continuing to be better at that. But for the most part, it was just being able to shoot the ball off the dribble a lot.
We'll go to Sean Cunningham.
Hey, Fox. When it comes to the conditioning thing and getting bigger, I know that's been such a focus every single year. Do you get closer and closer to where you want to get, or are you still a ways away? How far are you from where maybe ideally you'd like to be?
From like the weight that I want to be, or
Yeah.
I mean, at some point in my playing career, I would like to play like over 200, something like that. I'm like 197 ish right now, so I'm almost 30 pounds up from where I was at the combine. And as I've gotten stronger, I feel like I've gotten faster, more explosive, things like that. So it's nothing that's ever weighed me down. It's made shooting the ball, a lot easier, being stronger. But I mean, that a lot of it just came with time. I mean, I've always been strong, for my weight, but just putting the weight on was kind of difficult. But as I've gotten older, it's been easier for me to put weight on. So I'm probably not where I want to be, so to say. But at 23 years old, like this is good for me. This is good for me right now.
Yeah. And as you enter your fifth season here, I know, there's always so much talk about the playoffs and you're kind of the face of this franchise. I mean, does the pressure kind of add more? I mean, how do you kind of deal with some of maybe the pressures, outside noise as it comes to maybe seeing the success of this team getting to where you all want to see it?
I wouldn't necessarily say pressure. We at the end of the day, we just control what we control. Last year we let a few stretches get out of hand, and that ultimately cost us. And we were close, but not close enough, obviously. But for us, it's just as a team, we have to continue to stick together. Everybody always says, don't get too high on your highs, don't get too low on your lows. And I think last year, at time we got too low, and we had to dig ourselves out of that hole. Basically, say you lost like 18 games in a row, basically. So you cut both of those in half, and we're a totally different team. We're in a totally different spot. Everybody's happy. People were talking about us making the play-in, possibly making a playoff. So that's a large chunk of the season. So for us, we just have to be able to continue to do what we're doing, and not let those 3 or 4 game losing streaks turn into 9-10.
Jason Anderson.
Hey, Darren, how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, doing well. Welcome back. The games are going to be officiated a little differently this year. The competition committee thought it was getting out of whack with unnatural motions and drawing off fouls on that end. How do you feel about them kind of adjusting the way they're going to call games, and how do you think it'll impact the game?
I mean, if you're asking me personally, I really don't care. I mean, that's like I've had meetings and things like that, and I've been told if I do this will be a foul. If I do that, this will be a foul. And I'm like, well, I play basketball ultimately. If I'm going to the basket to make the shot, I'm not worried about getting fouled. So at the end of the day, I mean, it doesn't change how I play. So it doesn't really matter to me at all, to be honest.
Okay. And to follow up on Sean's question about the playoffs, it is It's been a 15-year drought. That's not on you guys, not all of it anyway, but 16 years would tie the all-time NBA record. And I just wonder, is it in the back of your head how that, this is something that you guys want to avoid, you don't want to be attached to? And I know you've spoken out kind of on behalf of the fans and wanting to give them what they want and they've waited so long for. So how much does that factor into kind of driving you to break that drought?
I mean, obviously, it's once like you don't want to be a part of that and, being attached to that. But at the end of the day, like we have to just worry about, what we can do. And, when you're out there, you can't worry about for me, even, I can't worry about the 5 years that I've been here or the, 10 plus years before that. You just got to go out there and play. And obviously you don't want to have that pressure, so to say, but, everybody who enters the league wants to make the playoffs and wants to win a championship. So, every given season, every game that you go out there, that's what you're shopping for. And basically that's how you have to think about it when you're out there playing.
Matt George.
Hey, Fox, you took on the star scoring role last season, and I know the focus as a team is to improve overall defensively. Is it difficult to balance that high workload on offense with trying to have an equal or similar workload defensively? Can you explain like the difficulties of that?
Man, at the end of the day, you just have to be a well-conditioned player. There are a select few of guys in the league that have been able to do both, been able to do both for a long time. And that's what I want to be one of those guys that can, guard the other guy, guard the best, perimeter player on the other team, and still do what you have to do offensively to help your team win. So I know that I have to be better and more consistent on that end of the court from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. And for me, I've been, the last few years, I think I've been towards the top of the league in like deflections and steals, but it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than just getting your hand on balls. A lot of times it's just having to be solid, for 6-7 minute stretches, and that'll help defensively.
Have you gotten the opportunity yet to play some one-on-one with Davion Mitchell? And if so, what have those matchups been like between the two of you?
Yeah. So when I came back for California Classic, it was Davion, Tyrese, Mezzi, and I. We actually did some one-on-one stuff. I mean, he's good. I mean, he's good at anticipating things. He's quick, strong, and then offensively, I mean, it goes both ways for him. He uses his strength and his quickness on both sides of the ball. He just has really good instincts.
All right, go to Tony Harvey.
Hey, De'Aaron, how you doing? Had Coach Walton or the staff talked to you guys about what they would like to see more, coming from the guard spot going into the season, technically rebounding? Is there anything something more that they're looking for out of the unit, out of the guard unit this season?
Yeah, I mean, especially, with drafting Davion, I mean, we've talked about playing three guards, and at the end of the day, kind of what you give up is, size. So that comes from like rebounding, defense. But for us, I mean, we have to be able to buckle down and do that. If we can't, then obviously us three won't be able to play together, and coach is gonna have to figure something else out. But for us, I mean, we all want to play together. At the end of the day, we want to play together. We know we can do it. Like OKC 2 years ago, where they had 3-guard lineups. And offensively, it definitely helps having multiple guys who can, get into a pick and roll, can shoot the ball, who can get into their own offense. But for us, we know that defensively with the 3 guards, that's going to be where we have to hang our hat on. And, if we're able to get stops and rebound, then, we should be fine. Offensively, we won't have to really, worry about that.
And my last question, Magic Johnson always say, during the offseason, he always worked on something that wasn't clicking for him. I'm not going to say that it was a weakness or anything. There's something that he wants to improve on. Is there anything, going into your 5th year that you solely just buckle down on? I see you in the weight room aside from that, but was there anything else with your abilities that you really want to concentrate going on taking into this next season?
A lot of it's always shooting for the one part. You can never be, too good of a shooter. But then for me, obviously, with knowing what we're going in with, getting stronger was to be able to guard, bigger guards, wings, things that I've done, this past year, knowing that those will a lot of times be a matchup that I'll have to do. But at the end of the day, a lot of the things defensively is mentality, effort, things like that. So for me, like I said, just being more locked in for, the 48-minute game, however long I'm out there being locked in on both ends of the court.
All right, just do a couple more. Sean Cunningham.
Yeah, I was just curious what you thought of the offseason overall. I mean, there was always so much noise about your team and possibly making moves, and here you are, and looks like it's ultimately a lot of the same team, bringing a lot of the same guys back. Was just what were your thoughts overall, and just kind of the roster that's in front of you?
For me as a player, obviously you go out there with what you have. Doesn't GM makes movies. He doesn't. But like I said, I think last year, we had a chance, and there were just too many stretches and during the season that we kind of fell apart. So, me as a player, I know what we're capable of doing, and we just have to be able to do that for as long of a period of time as we can. And we can't let those slip ups last for too long. Every team has slip ups. Everybody loses, 2 or 3 games in a row, but we can't let that continue to stack on each other. And I think last year we let that happen too many times.
Yeah. And then, obviously September is a time where everyone kind of comes back early, right before camp. Any differences this year? I mean, is it pretty much everyone already back and kind of going at it already?
Yeah, we got a lot of guys back. And then as you've seen, a lot of the team was together during the summer in LA, being back here. So it's been great chemistry wise. We had a lot of young guys together, playing a lot of 5-on-5, man. At the end of the day, people get better differently. A lot of people get better with experience and continuing to play 5-on-5. For me, during the summer, I've kind of always stayed away from 5-on-5 a little bit more. And then as, the season starts to ramp up, I get back into it. But we've had a lot of guys getting experience playing 5-on-5 with pros. And I think that definitely helps you a lot. It helps you a lot.
All right, Jason Anderson again.
De'Aaron, I wanted to ask you kind of about the defensive side as well. And the addition of Davion, really several moves that were made during this offseason were there was an emphasis on the defensive end. So how much do you recognize that and embrace that commitment to improving defense? And Davion in particular looks really pesky. I mean, what's it going to be like to have him in the gym, that you've got to go up against every day? And how much do you welcome that presence?
It's great. I mean, it's great for us as a team. Knowing that, that's where we were lacking last year as a team. And I mean, ultimately, that's what we really needed to improve. Everything offensively can stay, where it's at, but obviously you want to continue to get better on that end too. But defensively is where we have to, really get better as a team. And seeing what he did in college as a guard, I mean, that's tough. Like, that's a really tough thing to do. And obviously going up against him, it's definitely, it's going to be great for everybody, for me, Ty, Buddy, everybody who has to, be guarded by him in practice. And then for me, I'm guarded by the best defender every night. So it is what it is for me. I'm always, every time we step on the court at this point now, I'm getting guarded by the best defender, rather if it's a guard or a wing or whatever it is. So for me, obviously it'll continue to help my game, but I think for us as a whole and as a team, it'll definitely bring us up defensively.
Is it reasonable to expect or even fair to think that a rookie can come in and help to change the culture and the team's defensive identity in a meaningful way?
Definitely. Obviously, he's an older rookie, so, he's more NBA ready. He's a stronger guy. He's over 200 pounds at like 6'6", 6'1". So, I think he's ready. I think he's ready to contribute to the team now. And we've played pickup and things like that. And he's an NBA player. So obviously, this year people are going to say, rookie this, rookie that. But for us, we're not looking at it that way. The same way we kind of looked at Tyrese last year. It's he's an NBA player. We're not, worried about it being a rookie or if you're in your 3rd or 4th season. That doesn't matter for us. And he's definitely going to come in and help us change a lot of that.
All right.